Yeah, intro doesn't have them.
There goes audio.
Oh, there we go, doesn't have them.
There goes audio. Ah, it's double audio. Oh my. There goes audio. Ah, it's double audio. Oh my. There goes audio. Ah, it's double audio.
We are gonna have that forever. We gotta figure out what is wrong with my freaking XSplit. Because that sound is only supposed to go to the stream, and unless I turn everybody's voice on, it doesn't go to the stream. So hello everybody for the extended edition. We were gonna go 30 minutes and we made it 10 minutes. So it's always fun and interesting. So let me make sure that everything is
RW and his
whatever
it is behind him.
Yep, we got RW and his inflatable guy. What is that behind you, RW? What the hell is that?
Sex doll.
What doll?
Don't worry about it. That's his sex doll.
Can't hear you, RW.
I stole it from Scythe.
Stole it from Scythe.
His name is Billiam.
You know what he looks like? You know what he looks like? He looks like that. He looks like that inflatable pilot from Airplane.
It does kind of look like that.
You and your old references, Eric.
That's pretty good.
That's an old one, but a goodie.
I like that.
That's not even that old. All right, come on.
It kind of is.
It ain't that old, but anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about needs to watch Airplane because it's a great.
That's literally the correct answer.
Shadrang is out there. Just give a big shout out to him because he's a funny guy, and you know, we probably need him to sing our intro because he's that freaking good.
With our Discord, Eric.
What'd you say?
With the Discord overlay.
Where's the disc? Oh, where did it go?
You fucked up.
Dum dum dum.
They don't know who's speaking or who's here at all.
Is it because we're on the in the wrong stream channel, or like what's that?
That would only have to watch in the show.
No, but because before I ran the show, you were all in there. It is after we went live that you disappeared.
Huh.
Ooh, that's even spookier.
That is.
So I think we should introduce our voices.
So introduce yourselves,
Just to be
and
safe,
I'll go
because
fix
Eric
it.
has fucking.
Voice 1, talk.
Who the fuck is voice 1?
Fuck who that would be the British guy. British guy, introduce yourself.
What number am I again?
You're
Well, I thought we were going alphabetically, so I thought we were starting.
Oh, well, that's not me. Caleb, go with the theme song.
Hey, then I'm first. I'm Caleb Aranya, and I'm just here to promote the Depletion Act with that Dirk actually named. So
the McGurk Ariana Depletion Act of.
It was very long.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Obviously, you guys know Eric. He's right there. But the voice that you're hearing right now is McLeod. Right? I'm a stream and talk show producer for ILM, and I fly with Initiative in game. I have a lot of fun.
Then after that would be RW.
Hi, I'm RW. I just sit here and act like I'm paying attention and listening when really I'm not.
Oh, I thought that was my job. And I'm Scythe. I'm obnoxious. There you go. We've introduced the cast.
I can confirm this.
It's all right. Y'all didn't deal with Drunk Scythe last Friday. That was real bad. It was real bad.
I like Drunk Scythe. I like.
Do you remember the Whiskey Gaming stream or whatever? Or actually, no, it was the Eric's Game Corner or whatever. Right before
when you were trying to trigger me.
No, when I got stupid wasted. And I was too drunk
that was
to
the
vomit.
one. That was the one where you're like, oh yeah, well, was that the one where?
That's the one where I said
SpaceMex was like, you thought SpaceMax was basically calling you out.
I said if someone donates $50 to our stream right now, I'll finish this bottle of bourbon. And SpaceMax immediately donated $50. So and then he's like, but you don't have to like down it in one swig. And I was like, well, he's calling me a bitch, so I better do it. I got to do this right. And then I got that drunk. Yeah, that's how drunk I was Friday.
It's so funny because like you're like, nah, I'll be fine. Like I do this all the time, and then like
I do.
10 minutes later,
I was at the I was at the point of drunk where I forgot that the Jack Daniels label on that bottle covers the back of the bottle, so I couldn't judge how much was left.
Oops.
And then I died. then I was just gone. I got that drunk, except I drank like twice as much last Friday, and it was bad. It was bad.
We had some new people jump into the channel. Say hey, ERJ.
RJ.
Beep beep.
RJ.
Drive by.
See, we need that.
Billy's here as well. And Shan Dragon's here.
We have too many people. I'm going home.
You're not going anywhere.
I am already home. I nailed it.
See, told you, called it.
Yep. All right. So let's get the Nerf bat going. I think RW, Caleb, you were already in on this. You wanna start the ranting, and we'll just go around the room.
I just want to give the word to Shandragon if you wanted to actually say something or announce something before we start on the long rant.
Let's get it on. I've been feeling fine, baby. Let's get it on.
Fucking love you, man.
Nailed it.
I fucking love you, man.
Yeah, I love it, man. All right,
Well,
that was.
I'm pretty sure that
I hope everyone's got their alcoholic beverages. Apparently, the alcoholic beverage of this weekend this stream was meant to be Moscow Mules. So I hope you're getting all your Russian on.
I refuse to support communism.
Well, that's good because Moscow Mule is actually a drink made by 2 Americans in America.
There you go.
So you know,
Right.
In New York, by the way.
Up.
get that.
So I'm gonna go back to high sec mining.
I have no idea why I have no idea why our talk utility wasn't showing who was who, but apparently it just messed up. So I've got it fixed, and Shandragon's sitting right on top of my head there. This way.
Yeah, you just need to scale it up and down.
All right, and for those in the audience, we're gonna let's talk about Moscow Mules, right? So anybody who doesn't know, the right way, you serve it in a nice copper glass, and you have
Eric's gone silent again.
You have I've gone silent to you guys because I needed 2 hands, but so you have some mashed up little limes in there. And I prefer the stronger edition ginger beer, but you can use any ginger beer that you want. You pour about 4 ounces in there, and then, of course, 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces of Tito's, which I'm going to put in mine right now.
I just chucked a bunch of ice into a cup, and then put 2 shots of vodka in there. And then I realized after putting the 2 shots of vodka in there that the vodka that I used was actually Export 100 proof vodka. So that's 4 shots instead of 2. And then I just went, fuck it. And, poured a bunch of ginger beer in there. And I don't actually have actual lime. So I just I grabbed some lime juice and just chucked a whole load of lime juice from the bottle in there.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay, now
and then I shook it up, which was a really bad thing. Because that went everywhere.
I'm taking notes right now.
Since I can't get ginger beer down here in the 7th world country that I'm in, I just had to go with the old standby vodka, and I threw some apple juice in there for color, just because vodka goes with
and apple
everything.
juice.
Hey, what rhymes with Friday?
You just made my wife
Vodka.
I want to welcome. I want to welcome Soth to the
What are you, an asshole?
Fucking wound up today.
Coming into this channel, but it's not Friday.
Yeah.
I don't care.
You know what rhymes with whiskey?
Saturday.
Vodka. You know what rhymes with this show's title? Vodka.
Vodka.
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was Cuervo.
I mean,
Cuervo, whatever.
I'm drinking water, so I have to be sober today.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Hey, she's
I'll help you out here, but
The show got 15% more boring because Scythe is sober during it.
All right.
I'll help you feel good about your decision, Scythe. But mine was getting your
donation from Drinkum.
Let me get a someone just do a shot of vodka on the camera for me, so I can get the vodka via a visual effect, and maybe it'll help.
We had a donation from Drinkum McParch Throat. He's already got his drink ready. I'm not sure what he's drinking.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just for the free thing.
The wife's asking if you got the mint.
Wife asking what? There's no mint.
The mint.
There's no mint in this drink.
You're thinking mojitos.
Yeah.
That's mojitos.
That's mojitos, man. That's a mojito. I'm telling you.
That's a mojito, dude.
Also a really awesome drink, FYI.
By the way, I actually made 2 of these drinks, so.
Well, here's the recipe. Garnish with a sprig, quote unquote sprig of mint.
Oh, okay.
Garnish
so it's not
is
a
for
main.
bitches.
It's a garnish, but it's not
Never
a
seen
main
that.
factor of the drink.
And I've never seen freaking mint in this drink.
I like to garnish my alcohol with alcohol.
That must be like the girl version of this drink or something. I don't know.
It's like someone asks you if you want a bourbon, you say yes, and they put a garnish in there. That garnish better be another half shot of bourbon on top of it.
So, I know that you guys are saying like whiskey rhymes with vodka. Everything rhymes with vodka. But do you know what goes good with vodka?
You tell us.
More vodka.
Vodka.
No. Chili's baby back ribs. I want my baby back. Chili's baby back ribs. I want my baby back ribs.
Oh,
Jesus.
fuck! This stream is already off the rails.
Like over here in the UK, over here in the UK, we've got the some of the bars like in like city centers and stuff. There's a place called like Vodka or Revolutions. Everybody I know who actually goes to Revolutions basically calls it Vodka Res because that's what they sell. They sell vodka for the most part, but they do like so many different flavors and types of vodka, like any and every different type of of flavor of vodka you can think of. They've got it. Awesome.
So I'm gonna say one thing about the Moscow Mule. There is nothing better than a nice cold Moscow Mule after you've come out of the heat from the beach or the golf course. I'm gonna tell you, it's a fantastic drink, guys.
Nice. And technically, if you think of if you're getting the proper vodka and it's made from potatoes, then technically, I mean, you could almost consider it to be a health drink. You know,
it is a health drink.
Oh, I like my potatoes.
There you go. There you go.
To be sure. To be sure.
Oh, to be sure.
It's not Shamrock Day.
What's the joke? The Irish potato famine never would have ended if they figured out about vodka.
Well, I'm pretty sure if they figured out about vodka, they suddenly wouldn't really care anymore because they'd do that shit face.
Well, no, they wouldn't have any potatoes to eat in the first place. They would all be vodka.
And they would keep for a hell of a lot longer.
Yep.
Well, actually, I don't know. It depends. Depends entirely on how.
I mean, it's the Irish. How much do you think they can drink in a day?
What
Are you hungry? Oh, I eat some vodka.
Some vodka and some soda crackers. You're good.
Oh, it would be a good combination to be sure.
A little butter. You'd be good.
I think we've become offensive now.
No, we're.
It took what, maybe 3 minutes?
I'd just like to say that any of you guys out there, if Shara asks you if you want a cocktail, politely decline.
Is this like words for the wise going to eat Vegas? If Shara asks if you want a cocktail,
pretty much right now.
No, thank you.
I think it might be.
Thank you, but no, thank you. I don't know, Shrar. I don't know. McLeod brought it up. He's got to explain it, not me.
Who was it that defined?
I think the what you do is mix dirt from a graveyard into vodka and put some chocolate milk. That's a drink. I think that pretty much clinched it, to be honest.
McLeod, who was it that classified E-Vegas as a big goon orgy?
Well, when it was still being run by a goon.
Is that not what it is?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going. I mean,
that's the only reason it's worth going to.
Oh, hey, y'all want to hear something really cool?
Yes, we do.
Sure.
Is your furniture there?
No, sadly not. That's why I'm on. But so I'm at work, right? I'm getting out on a Friday morning or whatever because I'm on Graves, and I'm talking to this one other contractor that's out there. And he starts talking about his PC and all that and his rig and everything. And he's like, yeah, I just have multiple monitors because I play EVE and everything. I'm like, oh, here we go. So the whole EVE conversation starts off. He's like, who you with? I'm like, goons? So this dude's in freaking Karma.
Yeah. Nice. Get him on the show.
But here's the thing: I've worked with him for like 5 years now, and never knew.
Oh wow.
Wow, that's impressive.
Well,
So, goons are everywhere.
Goons are everywhere.
technically, what is it? We have at least 4 people where we work that we could get on one, right, Scythe, and just sit there and talk all day.
I honestly, we have that new Skype at our for our computers at my level of our company, and that's all we do is we just message back and forth about Eve shit and nonsense.
Never happens. I don't know what you're talking
Never
about.
happens. I declined that. We talk only business.
Who was it that said that they were almost always working on their stuff in Eve, but because they do so much spreadsheeting, it's basically a natural bus key. You don't have to actually hide anything because your boss won't be able to tell the difference.
That's funny. That's funny.
That's excellent.
That's pretty good.
Wasn't somebody shooting around the thing, hey, 50% of all Google Sheets or Eve spreadsheets or something like that? Not real.
Right,
I think somebody was just saying it.
I'm surprised. I've seen some amazing things. Hey, Soth.
So, Sother, so what brings you here today? You're not an often guest, but we certainly love it when you come. Are you here to complain with us?
Oh, I'm just around.
Nice.
And you know, I love complaining. Everyone knows.
Don't we all?
I was surprised the trademark little thing came through on Jabber. I was pretty impressed. We were fucking around. Oh, I'm gonna.
I didn't think it actually. To be completely honest, I didn't think it would work on Twitch, but it did.
Yeah, I can't believe it worked everywhere. And we were just messing with that because, of course, RJ is waiting for some stuff to be delivered, and the guys like keep telling him we'll be there soon. And so we said, hey,
TM.
it's the CCP trademark, soon TM in Discord. We said, hey, can we use that everywhere?
Go for it.
So yeah. What do you want to complain about today, Soth? I'll let you have the first crack at anything.
First crack at anything?
Yeah, complain about anything.
Oh dear.
What?
Or you can.
Well, looking at these, I don't know. Have you guys looked at the T3 changes yet? Because CCP have actually released the first draft with like numbers and everything.
I heard rumors that someone said that they were going to change T3s to be like high DPS, low tank kind of things, or at least the ability to.
Let me link this to you.
I haven't seen it.
I linked the spreadsheet in general.
Oh, in general Imperium Discord?
In Discord, yeah.
Is this the leaked stuff, or is this the actual?
This is actually released by CCP, yeah. It's all subject to change. I mean, it says that in the first sentence. But that's pretty much their idea of what they want to do. So the basic changes are pretty much they want to reduce base resistance, increase signature radius, reduce agility and speed slightly, and increase the cost. So that already is a pretty big nerf.
What about the mass? Didn't someone say that they were increasing mass, so you can't get
mass
them out of
as well,
wormholes
just
easily?
slightly. That's not going to change a whole lot about wormhole. They are still going to be good for wormhole stuff.
Okay, so it doesn't really matter. It's not a significant number.
We don't know yet because they haven't released those actual numbers yet for mass, but they are saying it's slightly. So I would expect like 10%, maybe 20% more mass. And on a cruiser, that's not that much. But looking at these changes, some things that are not going to be a thing anymore, if they actually release it like they are planning here, are things like web low keys or point and scram Proteuses, because you lose 2 low slots when you go for the
and that's and that's significant. That'll significantly fuck the tank, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Lokis aren't already not the tankiest of the bunch. I mean, they are fine, right? But this will, added to the higher cost for the ships, it will probably add up. You won't really see web Lokis that much anymore. And added to that, you cannot have the probing subsystem and a tanky ship at the same time, which will hurt FCs.
Well, didn't CCP say that they wanted to put together and make like brand new FC ships? Like,
yeah, and what are we going to use until they release those in a year?
Hopes and dreams, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, soon.
Hopes and dreams.
Soon.
Oh, boys, I gotta head fly side.
All right, Shane.
All right, man. Cheers, Shan.
Sing them something good.
Yeah, I will. Don't worry.
So, I mean,
go ahead.
The more established FCs, they know how to probe on an ult, right? They have no issue with that. This is more hurting the newer FCs who aren't as used to multi-boxing yet, which is really a shame. I mean, you want to make it easy for those guys, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I was surprised at the timing. I think that it seems extremely pressing that they put it out like with so little time till the tournament starts. It means that there's hardly any time for anyone to get a feel of it and maybe report back to any of the focus group guys and get any changes made or anything said about it. It's like way too little time.
Well, the thing is, the tournament doesn't matter because the T3s are banned this year from the tournament.
Huh, that's convenient. Okay, I see. That makes sense.
Fair enough. One of the things I kind of miss, actually, like I don't know if any of you guys actually ever used it, but like if anybody remembers a tool or like an all-in-one tool called Eve HQ.
I remember it.
At all?
I remember it.
Like the fitting tool in Eve HQ was like had something that I haven't seen any other fitting tool have, and it was the ability to be able to create like your own ships with various different properties. What was really cool about that was when nerfs and buffs and this basically balance passes like occurred on ships, you could literally open this program up and create that specific ship with that specific set of changes to it, and then use it as a ship in the ship fitting tool to see how it works, how good or how bad like a nerf or a buff it is. But like that's the thing. Like I mean, they kind of stopped using it. Like they stopped updating it and stuff. So that really sucks. But like these changes would be amazing to like run through that sort of thing.
That wouldn't help with this pretty much because while you have all the subsystem info, they already said that they are also changing the base stats, and they haven't said anything about the base stats yet.
Damn. Okay.
Look at resistances, for example. They're saying, well, they will put down resistances to T3 destroyer level, and at the same time, they've already said here and there that they might increase like base armor and base shield stats. But you don't know how that plays out in the end until you have actual numbers.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
It seems to me, Sath, that CCP, more than any other game I see out there, messes around with this nerfing and balancing stuff. Why is that? Do you know?
It is a very complicated game, and it's very complicated to balance, and so they are kind of forced to reactionary balancing. Right? They can't really foresee how the meta goes because it's so complicated. You tweak a number here and it changes stuff in things you haven't thought about. Especially because there's so different gameplays that are around, right? You don't only have nullsec. I mean, sure, we like to complain about things not working out in nullsec, but we need to keep in mind there's also low sec stuff going on. There's people running in high sec. There's wormhole stuff. these fits need to work for all of that, right? So balancing isn't really easy. But what I personally don't like is that CCP likes to nerf shit instead of buffing other things to get them on par.
Well, the one of the issues with just buffing things constantly is power creep, and that is that's the other kind of aspect of it is, balance is inherently, when you talk about balance as actually being a word, like you're not constantly increasing something. You have to bring things into parity. You have to kind of like, but in that kind of same sense, like, you can't just nerf things to the ground all the time. You have to kind of look to buffing things as well.
Well,
yeah,
I mean, that's my point, right? Just because a ship becomes a meta or used in one area in a certain way, it doesn't necessarily mean it needs nerfed, right? We have way too many ship types in this game anyway.
Yeah, the thing is that it's most of the time it's just one ship out of a whole ship class. Like, look at faction battleships. The Macarial is really, really strong right now when it comes to faction battleships. And if you look at hacks, for example, the Cerberus is pretty good, and the others are pretty much useless at the moment. So why would you nerf the Cerb or the Macarial when you could just buff the other ships in that section and make them viable as well, so you actually have a choice?
Well, that's my point. I mean, why does every ship have to be viable for every situation, right? I mean, usually a doctrine is picked, right, because it is a counter to a specific other thing.
Right? It's a bit more complicated than that. You need to source them, which is a problem that we had with Tech Fleet back in the day, which was Tempest Fleet issues, and we whelped like 1 or 2 fleets, and all of a sudden the market was empty. That's something you need to think about. Price is something you need to think about, and the skills of your pilots are also something you need to keep in mind.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, but it seems like, when we go through these nerfing iterations, right, it's more of making most ships in a class more equal. Right? And if I make everything equal, then why do I need 4 versions of it?
Yeah, but the thing is, no matter if you nerf one ship or you buff the others to make them equal, I think that buffing is better, because instead of taking away something from the player, you are giving him more options. See it that way. If someone likes flying Macarials and you nerf the Macarial, the guy is asking CCP, why are you taking the thing away that I really like doing, right? Instead,
Absolutely.
you could buff the Nightmare and the Vindicator and all of those other faction battleships, and the Macarial pilot can still fly his Macarial, but if people don't like it or can't fly it because of skill, there are other options that are viable all of a sudden as well.
I think you're hitting on a very good subject that CCP and a number of game developers need to learn, right? I mean, it's when you are constantly nerfing, you give the person who is your customer and is paying for a service, right? You think they're losing service or functionality, right? If you're giving them things, and sometimes you've got to do that. But if you're giving them things, they feel like, hey, there's a real benefit to being a member of this organization and buying and being a customer here, right? No, maybe?
No, totally.
Yeah, and I think that's just, I think that fuels some of the anger and everything you see on forums and everywhere else. And they've got to learn to counteract that. More drink. It's very good.
My Vader's Vault lightsaber just got here today.
Oh, nice.
What? It's at my brother's house, so I have to go pick it up. Haha. Sorry, random off-topic nonsense. That's what I provide to the show.
Isn't that what we're here for?
That's absolutely what we're here for.
It was geek related, so it was fine.
It was. No, we've been waiting for these fuckers since like August last year.
Didn't you get a deal on them too?
On those? No, I didn't get a deal on those sabers. That was one my brother had ordered us each something cool for Christmas. So it took like twice as long to get them. So I can't wait to see how good they look.
Nice. I think I needed more lime in my drink. Needs a little more.
You need some lime in the coconut, and you're gonna ship it up.
What do you do with the coconut if you put the lime in it?
That's why you need to get a bottle of lime juice. You can just like fucking.
What'd you say, Eric?
Upend that and just go. Whoop, yeah.
Eric, you open a coconut, you put a little hole in there, you put some lime juice and some rum, and you shake it.
Ah, it's the rum.
Uh-huh.
Best line from Pirates of the Caribbean. But why the rum?
Yeah.
She burned everything.
But why is the rum gone?
Hey, if you don't want the rum, I take it.
I have a bottle of rum sitting here that I'm not going to drink today. I really want to. I might be an alcoholic.
I like how he goes. He goes, I might be an alcoholic. Really?
No,
I mean, you're not an open conch. I think you're okay.
I like how dismissive that line was. Like,
I like to drink. I don't have to drink. I just like to.
I had to step out a little bit. How much did I miss? Did we start the yet?
We haven't Epiphany.
We haven't started the nerf back kind of section yet.
We're gonna do that in 10 minutes. I want to. Does anybody want to look at RW's finished water cooled PC?
Yes, please.
Yeah, put that up.
He had his super cam going. He's getting his super cam ready. He's gonna give us a fly through.
All right, RW. We're putting you on the spot.
Look at that long lifeline on that hand.
He looks like he didn't know about that.
He knew.
He's like, oh, crap, I'm being put on the spot.
Just got me by surprise.
Is it? Oh yeah,
it's gonna blow. It's gonna blow.
Oh, it's pretty. You're supposed to make me.
That is pretty. That is very pretty.
Now this is all an open air PC too.
I love it.
So I was asking him
where logo is the best.
I said, "Where's your hard drives in SSDs, right?" And it's actually in the black base of the PC. You can't see them in the regular area. And so he's got his CPU there, and he bent all of these tubes by
all the
by
pipes.
hand. So
Are you actually?
Go ahead.
Are you actually cooling the hard drives as well? Because recently I've had issues with my hard drives getting too hot.
That is an RW question.
That is
no. The hard drives are not cooled. The hard drives are actually sitting. There's one hard drive right behind the memory there, behind the motherboard inside the case. Okay. The other hard drive is right there behind that heatsink.
Ooh.
Ah.
And the SSD would be back there in the back behind that LCD.
RW, that is gorgeous work, man.
It looks really fucking.
How many hours did you put in that thing?
Zoom in a little closer on your video card, because that's really what I wanna cool when I do mine. And he's got the back plate on there, the whole water cool for the video card. No fans there. That's awesome. So, okay. So where's the out? Oh, it's on the other side. I see it. It's not both. You don't have it going both the same direction. I see where it is. Yep.
Yeah. In the bottom, out the top. But there's
cool.
7 ports on that thing. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7 ports. Yeah, 7 ports, so you can configure it many different ways.
That is really cool.
How many hours did it take you to finish your build, dude? You know,
about 3 days.
About 3 days. That's not bad, actually. Was it 3 full straight days of working on it?
No, just here and there.
A couple hours here and there.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
You make me want to water cool, but I really don't.
I really want a PC done like that, just because I love the Imperial on there, man. I love the red. Is the water lit in any way? Like, do you have that big tank up top lit?
It's supposed to be, but there's a 200 millimeter CCFL that's inside that reservoir.
Okay.
And it's right there. You see the black cable coming out. It's supposed to be lit up inside there, but
it's sunny. It's hard to tell anyway.
Temperature. There is the CCFL.
Okay.
It's in there where that cable is.
Okay.
It's supposed to be lit up, but the inverter doesn't work right now. I have to get a new inverter.
All right. It's still bitching though, because I want my case done like that. Just I love the like Imperial logo going with that, with all the red and stuff. That's awesome.
You can see it right there. There's 2 little holes drilled into that water block for the processor.
Yeah.
I've got LEDs, red LEDs to go inside there, so that whole water block will be lit up. And then here in the video card, at each end, there is holes for red LEDs to go in there too.
Oh, sweet.
And McZerg, no, it's not coolant's liquid. It is EK cryofuel is the liquid that I use.
Nice. Nice.
Then the LCD there, that monitors my water temperature. You can't really see it on the screen, but that's the temperature sensor. Is that plugged there? And anyway, right now under a load, because I've got a game running in the background, it's 32.5 Celsius. Processor temps are 26 across the board. And idle, I run about 17 Celsius on the processor and about 25 on the video card.
It's pretty amazing.
That's nice.
That's awesome. I'm so. I remember. We
the fans were custom painted.
Oh yeah, that's right. Those fans weren't red. You had to pull those out, take them completely apart, and paint them so that they were still in balance, right?
Yep.
That's impressive.
It's more like paint them and hope they didn't get out of balance.
Yeah, I was about to say, because that's very much a hit or miss kind of situation where you're putting them back together.
Right.
Like whether they
And
can
that behind the south bridge there's an LED light in there that actually you can set it up in different ways. You can have it beat to music. You can have it breathe in and out. And I have it set to monitor the temperature of the processor.
Nice.
So as long as that light stays green, I'm good.
It looks kind of white on the screen. But yeah.
It does here, but it's green.
That's cool.
That's wild. It's very cool. Thanks for sharing that, man.
All right, now that we're all happy and like not angry about anything, are we going to start?
Billy, you've been playing any non-Eve games?
Oh yeah, I'm always on everything else. Too much, man. Too many games.
I have too many Discords that I'm a member of, and frickin' Caleb sent me another Discord to be a member of, so there's more shit for me to track. I love it. Thanks, Caleb.
Well, I kind of had to, right? I can't roll stuff out without adding a Discord to it, so that was needed.
And so next week maybe we'll have the opportunity to talk a little 7 days, because the Alpha 16 of 7 Days to Die should be dropping this week. So we'll see. And see, we got Porthos out there. Mm-hmm. Oh, Porthos is going to start 10 more Discords. You would. That's awesome.
Nice.
So is it time to bitch about the Rorqual changes? See, the whole point here is
changes.
The whole point of this is to, immerse Billy in a lot of Eve talk so that he eventually just says, fuck it, I'm going to play.
Well, that's why I secretly send him an email every day, hoping he'll read it that just says play Eve.
It's not a player invite to play Eve. It's literally just 2 words.
Do it.
Play Eve.
It says play Eve, and then he'll get an email about 5 minutes later that says, "Do it, you bitch."
Is that an internal email or is that an external?
It might be a little bit of both. Nah, I'm joking.
Shouldn't we be talking about all the awesome things in Eve then, instead of like bitching about all the stuff we hate?
Nah, because bitching about stuff makes people want to play more. They want to be in on the bitching too, because the bitching is half the fun.
Oh, I'm almost done with Moscow Mule #1.
Nice. I'm out of Moscow Mule #1, and it was quite a large Moscow Mule #1 as well.
So, Rorqual changes. Thoughts? Just go.
Wait, there was there were Rorqual changes.
There will be in the June.
How did and nobody told me. Honest to God, nobody told me.
Don't you fucking read, Imperium News? What the hell? You're
what's reading?
Producer.
I'm taking.
McLeod is illiterate.
I'm taking the like half to 2/3 of the show on Talking in Stations about the Rorqual changes. I know all about it, man.
I was wondering. I mean, Jesus.
Pretty sure I got the news like 5 minutes after the post was put up on Evo.
Yeah.
You know, the thing about these all these Rorqual nerfs is, I think CCP was kind of surprised by the numbers they saw from the what do they call it again? The monthly economics report.
The point is that they always seem to be caught with their pants down when they do a change or add anything that's a little bit OP. It's the same with things like the Titans, right? There's just so many supers and Titans, and CCP design-wise had never actually planned that. They didn't think they were going to do that. The only thing that they have put in that does not seem easy to game is the Palatine, right?
Yeah.
The thing is,
but they have artificially said that you can only ever have one of those.
The thing
that
is,
too, just in case.
Yeah.
They could nerf the Rorqual to like 0, and goons would still find a way.
Yeah, it's not a goon. This is not a goon nerf, right? It's what many people misunderstand. This has nothing to do with the goons. The only thing that it's got to do with is the fact that goons have proven why this is a little bit of an issue, and that they need to step it back even further, right?
Let's put it.
This will be clear. Like, I'm just gonna.
Right. So let's look at the nerf. Right. So you've got a 9% to yield per drone, right? And then you've got a 12.5% speed reduction, right? So you really don't have a lot of room in that Rorqual itself to nerf it down much lower until you're effectively at a Hulk. I mean, you're effectively just above a Hulk with these nerfs. When you factor in moving around, popping roids, and you're still in siege, essentially, right? So your effectiveness over time is really close to a single Rorqual at this time. Maybe 0.3, 0.2, 0.4, somewhere around there.
Well, yeah, your ore hole's quite significantly larger,
right?
But so, like, you know, that's the only difference.
Right. I'm talking about, you know, amount that you can mine in per hour, right? I believe that if you assume there's a 20 to 30% drop if you made Rorquals equal to a Hulk, you can't effectively impact that 6.6 trillion ISK amount of ore in a month, right? So if you just had Hulks, you're still at like 4.5 to 5 trillion ISK in mining anyway. It's really not a big deal.
It's not really about the number so much of as it's about actually getting people to choose away from the Hulk again.
Absolutely not.
It's become like the end goal that everyone wanted and everyone tried to skill inject to get into. And that was never the intention. I think they realized it was a little bit too OP.
Let's put it this way. There is no question at all that CCP was not aware of how OP this was. They were told...
Yeah, because we actually told them.
Yeah, they were told over and over and over. Not just by everyday people. The CSM told them. I mean, the CSM came out and said, we told them.
The CSM told
them. That doesn't mean that they expected this proliferation.
No, the response back from CCP is, we know we want people to adopt the Rorq.
The response from Fozzie when we told him at Amsterdam was, it's not an issue. If it's too much, we will just nerf it.
Which is to be expected, right? But I'm pretty sure they didn't predict that everyone and their mother was going to skill inject to get into this ship this fast.
Well, I think the vast majority of people that adopted it didn't really need to skill inject to get there.
No, but I think it was definitely in CCP's interest for people to, you know, claw at the skill injector market in order to actually
absolutely
to it. You know, it did play to their favor, like totally. So, you know, read into that what you want, but like.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to change anything for goons. I do think that the anomaly nerf was completely in reference to goons because they don't have very much room to nerf that Rorqual anymore. And the only way they could do any sort of further nerfing was to add that timer.
Yeah, but it's a non-issue, right? It's just to prepare people for the fact that they are considering moving into something in the realm of depletion and controlling these faucets,
Oh,
because
no,
it doesn't
no,
change anything for goons. Eric, let me finish. It doesn't change anything. It just spreads it out a little bit more evenly, and it still doesn't really hit the capacity. It might have taken goons from something like 50% of capacity to maybe up to 65% or 70% of utilization of capacity in Delve. So it's a non-issue. It doesn't change anything. It's just that this is showing where they want to trend. So we start getting some of these behaviors in space, and that you can't just sit in 1 or 2 systems or 1 constellation and feed 25,000 people.
I think you are giving them far too much credit. When my counter with you is not where they're going, because they didn't have any plans to nerf and do this type of depletion. This is a complete reaction to 6.6 trillion done, and some single systems doing as much as Pravi in a month. They didn't have this.
You say that.
Got pushed up.
You say that, but the other aspect of that is, you know, you look at the you know, the value exported from Delve, and it's nothing. Like, you know, it's not like all of these you know, it's not like all of this you know, kind of stuff is hitting the market in HiSec and causing, you know, mineral prices to crash like crazy. Like, the majority of the stuff that's being mined out in Delve and, you know, sort of, you know, associated regions is staying there. You know, it's staying there because it's being put into an infrastructure. It's being put into.
You have to go back to Minas CSM days, right? When all of these things started rolling out. What I call the Independence Act, where Null became richer with resources and became even more independent. And this was potentially a good thing, because that pulled out a lot of people into Null. I think Carneros talked about this a little bit.
Well,
but then it's the fact that they forgot that they have actually scaled all these things for, instead of 50,000 players, they've scaled all the resources to like 250,000 players. So if they don't put in some strain and some bottlenecks, the world is just going to be flat, and everyone will just stay in their own little backyard and suck on their own little ISK and resource tits, and nothing is going to happen. They don't need to move anywhere. They can just stockpile their supers and keep building them and keep building them, and don't need to go next door either to aggress or to trade. And without aggression and trade, there is no E.
Yeah,
No,
I do agree with that.
There is that.
No, I totally agree with that. There is no scarcity at all at the moment. You can just pick a region where no one is around, take some stuff in like 1 constellation or 2, and why would anyone come over and kick over your sandcastle? That's effort, right? They may come over for a fight here or there, like, and see us doing with us right now. But they aren't going to claim your soft. Why? They would have to use soft lasers to do that, and no one wants to do that.
Hell no.
Well, that's the really funny thing, which also came up in TIS as well, which was the fact that, like, you know, even in regions like, even in like the drone regions and stuff like that, like, you know, you there's so much disincentive for fighting people there, because, you know, if you go and start kicking over someone's sandcastles, like down in the drone regions, like, they just literally pay you off, like. You know, and if we get to the point where everyone has such huge amounts of stockpiles of ISK and resources, then anytime anybody tries to invade, they just get paid. They'll just end up getting paid off by people.
Well, it's pretty easy to fix this in theory, and that's by just, you know, reducing nullsec by half, like just getting rid of half of nullsec, just throw out those star systems.
Well, I think to some degree,
people want to actually fight for it. Isn't that more fun?
I think to some degree,
the thing is, EVE is not, the EVE player base is not getting bigger as it is with other MMOs, right? We aren't like going to the millions of players here. And I think that nullsec is just way too big for those few people who actually want to be in nullsec.
I would argue.
I just think that if you consider structures, right, and the potential of more structure stuff being rolled out, and you consider all the effects from the other brands and things like that, we might be seeing that the space can be utilized. We might be seeing that it might actually make sense to want to live in it and not just gather in small clusters here and there in nullsec. I don't think we need to remove systems. We need to consider balancing these systems and making sure that it makes sense to go and aggress your neighbor or befriend your neighbor.
But I mean, if you're talking, I mean, CCP said that they want to add player build Stargates at some point. So for me, it would make way more sense to make nullsec smaller, way smaller, and then reserve the possibility to add new regions when it's needed. Because then you have things working out right now, and in the future, if it gets too small, you can always just add a region here and there. And
someone said something really cool about offlining Stargates. That would actually be fun if systems are not at a certain level, or just say the lowest utilized Stargates in the universe, one gets shut off every day or something like that.
But that's the thing, right? The number of systems in nullsec you have and the number of resources you have doesn't only affect where people live. It also affects people fighting over it, which then not only one alliance against another alliance. Can you imagine how many alliances actually disbanded because of people fighting for resources within the alliance? Like, oh, why is that corp getting 5 R64s and we are only getting 4? Stuff like that.
Yeah, and of course, I'm pretty sure that CCP have been thinking about this, at least to some degree. I'm not going to give them that much credit, but the whole thing with the moon mining changes, I think that's going to change the ecosystem. So any veterans like myself and yourself, still, any arguments from history will make no sense because we do not really know yet. I'd go so far and say that the Eve from January last year, anything before that has nothing to do with the Eve we're living in today.
To some degree. I did want to say that, like, you know, at the start of all of this, that, like, there are kind of two schools of thoughts with the whole Rorqual kind of nerf. And one is the fact that, you know, someone took a little look at the monthly economic report and went, holy crap. But then there's the other school of thought where they basically went, well, we're changing moon mining, and it's going to be, you know, Rorquals online when that happens, so we might need to change that.
Yeah, the speed with which they could hoover up a pool of moon goo would be interesting, right?
Yeah, so, you know, who knows, depending on, like, you know, how much, you know, moon materials you get when you know, bring up a certain slice, you know, after sort of, you know, depending on whatever, you know, whatever kind of, what is it, like the size of chunk of the moon that you bring up. Like, you know, if you're bringing up a pretty sizable chunk at the fastest rate possible and you're going through it with, you know, Rorquals in the space of an hour because you've got like a shit ton of Rorquals, you know, who knows what kind of change of like the output of that moon will be in relation to, you know, before the actual, you know, before the change.
But
because it's significantly larger.
Spreading them out, right? What's the numbers? I'm pretty sure that Sotter will be able to correct me. I think there's 55,000 moons in the game in total, and they all have assets in them, right? But only 15,000 or so is actually utilized at the moment. That means
they don't all have. Only in nullsec and part of lowsec do you actually have moon materials on moon, and not all of them have materials on them.
No, but 55K is the ones that are going to have materials in them, right?
I don't know the hard number for that.
The point is that activity and resource gathering is going to need to spread out. That's also why I kind of like the fact that they are thinking about changing things like anomalies and spreading out people into more space. Whether that's necessarily going to have some side effects that's negative, maybe. But I like the fact that entities and organizations need to spread out and overlap with their neighbors, because that will bring in some content.
Yeah, well, maybe for other regions, but if you look at Delve
is a special case. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it was pretty big
and rich. It's a third best region in the entire game, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Well, the
thing is about Delve that you can actually reach every system in Delve from just 2 spots. So you just sit there with everyone who's guarding, pretty much, right? With like faxes and carriers.
Perfect.
Yeah, and you just have your miners spread out, and if someone gets tackled, well, you have a whole capital fleet to save them.
It's why I'm making fun of the fact that the worst thing coming out of the casino wars for the rest of the EVE player base is that goons moved to Delve.
I know, it's terrible. You know what? We have not fielded a fleet of more than 100 since then either. So yeah, no, I the only thing I don't give CCP credit is they had some sort of deep thought on this timer for the anomalies. I think this was very much a gut reaction.
No, this is just a first step.
It was a gut reaction.
It's a gut reaction.
I don't think it's part of any sort of playbook plan. I don't. It wasn't.
It's a gut reaction, but I see it's a gut. It may feel a bit like a gut reaction, but like I think it is like for the long-term benefit of the game. I think it is actually needed. Like I think there's a lot more kind of like because we have like fucking ISK faucets and sort of material faucets in this game like crazy.
Yeah.
Like there's no ISK sinks, and like unless there's a massive war going on, there's not really that much like resource sinks going on either. So like,
well, that's the other thing, right?
Like looking into that kind of thing might be a good idea for the long-term longevity of the game.
Yeah, I mean,
and I keep trying to point out that when you look at goons, which is maybe one of the most important factors in the game when you're going to try and balance it, is you have to look at something like actual ancient history Rome, right? The way to support something like the Roman Empire needed extreme logistics and conquest of territories that could create food and resources that could actually feed this big machine. We do not have that in EVE right now. There is no need for goons to hold areas and territory like France or Spain with the olive oil, or Egypt with the grain coffers. There's no need for that. But in the future, I'm hoping that this is the direction that CCP takes it. So goons to function at that size will need to hold strategically important space to feed that machine. This will create the contesting of those areas, and they would need to move troops around and actually start playing a strategic game. Because right now you have an infinite field just outside of the Capitoline Hill that can basically produce all the food needed for the entire Roman population. That makes no sense.
Well, if you're going to do that, then and make the playing field level, you have to make smaller entities feel the same pain. And what's going to happen is, and the same thing, because they tried this with the drone lands and the stupid products to build the damn excavator drones, right? You can only get the shit from one location. What happens? Oh, it just gets carried to JITA and everybody trades it. Nobody needs to hold positions anywhere. It just goes to the central marketplace because there's so much stuff, not one entity can ever use it. So unless you take something and you make it so that you need 75 or you need 100 of them for everybody to have what they need, and you reduce it to 75 or 50. That's the only way you get what you're talking about. But
it's got many things. It's also got the topic that I keep trying to bring up with some of the CSM members. We need something like cyclicals in EVE. We need something like perishable fuel, things that make sure that you can't just stockpile forever. Because if you can't stockpile forever, you get around the problem in EVE with the assets creep, right?
No, but then all you have is an item in the game that needs that thing that nobody's going to use.
It's not about. It's about something that everyone needs. Like my suggestion would be things like blueprint copies should be a perishable good. and the same with boosters. And
but they are a perishable.
The big one, but they're not. They don't disappear.
Well, no. Right? What he's talking about perishable goods. When he's talking about perishable goods, Eric, is not like you know, when you use it, it uses up, or when you get blown up with it, they sometimes die. What he means is like, you know, they have a lifespan, even if you don't utilize it.
So you want to take one of the most complex games in the universe and make it even more tedious and complex, right? Come on.
No, it's something to do with stockpiling and assets creep. It's not going to change much. Most organizations don't really stockpile in eternity, and they don't necessarily have overcapacity of things like fuel. They go out and they get the fuel and they put it in the things that need fuel, and it's usually balanced to break even. But the fact that you have this speculative class on top of that can stockpile things forever, and it doesn't actually deplete, it doesn't disappear. That means that any minor percentage of overproduction is going to hit the game negatively in the long run, because it will end up being no resource, not valueless.
The depletable resource you do have in EVE are your players, because if you don't use the stuff you have, your players will be going away.
Yeah, that is very true.
Anyway, it was nice talking with you guys. I'm going to go and annoy Thomas Leo.
All right, go annoy him. Thanks, Soth.
Take care, bro.
No, I think one of the challenges that CCP has is that this is a very long-lived game, right? We just celebrated 20 years of EVE, right? It's a very long time for a game. Anytime you have a game that old, you have players that are highly skilled and can pretty much adapt and go into anything. That means that anything you do and change to the game, they are going to min-max at a constant level, okay? You can't put special things in at that level to manage those players independently of players that are new and don't have that capability, or you hurt your fresh faces in the game. You have to be careful.
You have to be careful in a game like this. It's very difficult to manage. It's also why the reaction from players is the way it is. It's because this game is complex beyond anything that's out there in the gaming community, right? So you have to, it's also why a lot of the criticism in the current Threadnought is something that I really agree with. The fact that, first of all, as McLeod pointed out, you do not bring out 2 changes to fix one problem, because then you don't know which fucking change fixed it. And the second one is the whole thing of, why don't you do this in a gradual way? Why don't you just turn the knob invisibly, right? You don't need to tell us everything or hide it under one of the patch notes with a few %.
No, you do. You need to announce what you're doing. CCP needs to announce it in a more professional way.
You can segment it, right? You can increment things so it doesn't feel as extreme, and you can better measure it when you're moving one knob at a time, even just a little bit.
Yeah,
you can also be a bit vague. Like, the other thing is, you can also be a bit vague into, like, I mean, not like super intentionally vague, but like, you know, when it comes to sort of a minor update, you can, you know, it's totally within the realm of like kind of acceptable to say, oh yeah, we've tweaked a little bit of this, or we've tweaked a little bit of that.
The challenge,
like, you know, not
the day you release it, the exact number is known, right? This isn't like, you know, like when we played H1Z1, they said, hey, you know, the shotgun's too OP, we're going to, you know, reduce the range and reduce this and increase this and whatever, right? They don't actually give you the exact parameters they're changing. Here in EVE, you have all that on every item that you use.
Which is stupid. That's, again, one of the problems with EVE, that it's all static numbers. Instead of having something that is more AI-based and that moves in a dynamic way. So you cannot game it. You can't put it in a spreadsheet. They need to start thinking about
to be fair,
controlled diminishing returns, depletion, payouts, standings, AI, NPC spawns. All these things need to be thought into an AI that does all this. So you cannot sit there going, I know exactly where to put this in my spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, Caleb, like I think the player base as a whole, like, well, maybe not as a whole, but like, you know, the brain power inside of particular orgs in this game are so fundamentally huge that like even if you were particularly vague about a particular change and you didn't have any way of being able to query, you know, the properties of X, Y, and Z kind of like object in the game to see what the changes were, you would get people in the game, you would get people in, you know, the large orgs like Goonswarm, like Test or whatever, you know, going onto the test server and, you know, and literally experimenting it and figuring it out. So
this is why I keep trying to promote any idea that is player versus player based to a degree. Like, well, we all know that you were kind of referencing the industry index API problem, right? The problem with that is that CCP has put in an arbitrary algorithm that basically uses time instead of value, and if it's based on something that's all NPC or under the hood based, it's going to create numbers that can be gamed. That's also why you're seeing this phenomenon of industry index padding, where people are basically terrorizing and destroying industry index in HiSec deliberately to remove their competition ability. The point is, if they had brought in something like a price index instead that was based on value and based on the cost that is paid for actually producing, which would be sensitive to player pricing, you couldn't game it because the players would just move dynamically with the AI, right? So what you would see is that the prices of things like installment costs in JITA would go up and up and up, just like office rentals did, right? And at some point, the players would start matching prices to compete, and then players would move out, and eventually players would take over all the production in EVE, and NPCs would be dead. That means that the indices would be all based on what players decide and how they compete on price. It would be dynamic, no longer a one system. It would be a 2, 3, 4, 5-pronged system, and you cannot predict that. You can't put it in a spreadsheet.
All right, we got about 4 minutes left. Let's do a little round table.
I need to brush up on, you know, economics.
Well, you can just Google the pendulum and see what happens. It's a chaotic system. It cannot be predicted. By nature, it's impossible to predict. It's not an exponential function.
Hey, we got about 4 minutes left. Let's do a quick little round table for last thoughts. How about that, guys? I'll start with Scythe.
Good.
Scythe, are you sober?
Is he dead? Is he not dead?
A little bit yet.
I think he is dead.
No Scythe. No Scythe. He's probably helping RJ move his furniture.
No, I'm back. I had to pee.
You know, we had somebody on a meeting the other day at work go pee while they were still on Skype. It was funny.
Was the mic on?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious. What a jackass.
No, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. It was
That's
just funny.
fucking...
What last thoughts
Was
from
it
you?
Billy?
No.
Oh.
Billy might have been on the call, though.
Oh, okay.
I was not, but I remember you telling me about it.
Okay. Scythe, last thoughts for today?
Fucking get your shit together, CCP.
RW.
Vodka goes with everything.
Vodka rhymes with everything.
Caleb.
Stick around and don't be change averse.
Billy.
ARMS comes out for 2 weeks and Switch. Check it out.
What comes out in 2 weeks?
ARMS. It's like a fighting game.
Nice. We'll check that out. McLeod.
Something we didn't actually talk about, but the fight in Head GP. All I want to say about that is GGPLNC and GG Test and Brave.
I take it we won.
For putting a whole bunch of stuff out there and getting a whole bunch of stuff shut up.
Boom, boom, boom. Alrighty, and my last thought is, going along with a lot of what we've said, HiSec needs to be one constellation each, LowSec needs to be cut in half, and so does NullSec, and then we'd have a much more interesting world or universe to live in. How about that one? And we are 2 minutes early. You guys didn't talk at all on your final thing. RW, and it seems like your co-pilot airline inflatable is getting a lot of attention there. So
apparently Eve HQ are working on an update for their for Eve HQ. All the guys
466, that's a good thing. We should reach out to them and get them on the show.
Be awesome.
Yeah. Real life slows everybody down, Porthos.
Mm.
Alrighty. I'd say with that, since we started a little early, we're going to throw it to the Meta Show a little early. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around and watching the show. We'll be back next week with some more interesting stuff and another new drink. That's about it. Everybody say bye.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.
Laters.